Welcome back to another episode of Solly's Vlog. Right now, we've been talking about my summer recap of 2021. It's summertime. Clubs are opening back up after the pandemic. I'm back to work. I've traveled a little bit, been a few places. We went to Cincinnati. Now we're gonna take a trip to Chicago and see Markus Schulz at Soundbar. Markus Schulz is a producer DJ who mostly does trance. He has a global broadcast radio show that he does weekly that you can find on Apple Podcasts, Mixcloud, and other various platforms. And I discovered him in 2018 as I started to get into trance and get ready for my one-time event at the Patron Saint, which turned into my mix series, Transcension. So, a huge Markus Schulz fan. I've had the opportunity to see him play live several times. This particular time that I went to Chicago to see him, he did an open to close set. I'm a huge fan of open to close sets by DJs for this particular reason. A lot of times when you are going to a show to see a DJ and it's electronic music, you will have openers and you'll have direct support, and then you'll have the headliner. So usually the time slots are anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, depending on the group, depending on how things go. The headliners usually play like an hour and a half, or maybe even sometimes 3 hours. It just depends. Sometimes they're doing an album tour. Sometimes they're just playing classics. I've seen kind of a little bit of everything. And Chicago, by it being the birthplace of house music, any show that I go to Chicago has a different feel than anywhere else in the country. And I can definitely say that as much as I've been to clubs on the West Coast, whether it's Seattle, Portland, LA, Chicago has a completely different feel because it is the birthplace of house music. This particular show with Markus Schulz has been the first time that I had seen him play since 2018. But it was amazing from beginning to end. And to watch an opening to close set from such a great DJ, it's an incredible time every time. And I know I say that a lot in my videos, but I really mean that. Trance is a little bit different depending on what area of the country you're in. And I've mentioned that before. Now, artists like Gabriel in Dresden or Spencer Brown or other people that we'll cover in future vlogs, some of them do trance. But trance is its own vibe in itself, and there's different levels to trance, but Markus Schulz hits every level and he hits it solid, especially for the crowd that Soundbar brings. And that's kind of the cool thing, is every time I've been to Soundbar to see various DJs that play trance, whether it be Paul Oakenfold, who's somebody I've seen several times before, whether it be Markus Schulz, Paul Van Dyke, Cosmic Gate, the list goes on of tremendous trance DJs that I've seen play awesome sets. The open to close set was great. Always, I love the lighting at Soundbar, and I just love the trip to Chicago. It's a 3-hour drive. I don't even have to tell you the pizza game in Chicago is real, so there's not anywhere else in the world where there's pizza like it is in Chicago. They just do it right. There's a couple cities that rival, but pizza from Chicago, it's a must every time. And I always enjoy myself. But this was one of the first times I had been to Chicago since 2020. The last time I had been was during the set that Carl Cox played at the Radius before everything shut down right before the pandemic. So coming back to see Markus Schulz at Soundbar, one of my favorite venues, made this trip all that much more special. That's gonna do it for this episode of Solly's Vlog. Make sure you click like and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel.